So welcome back, everyone. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. My next guest has been on with me several times. I have with me Wes Peters. He's the CEO of Gold Wealth Management. And I want you to tell everybody first a little bit about you, and because every time you come on, you got to do that.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to also talk about precious metals and why it is so important for people to understand that maybe diversifying their portfolio would be a really good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up here in Phoenix, and right out of high school, I went to the School of Hard Knocks. I joined the Marine Corps, spent 8 years in the Marine Corps as an aircraft mechanic on fighter jets. Back in '94, I got out of the Corps, went back to school, got all my securities and insurance licenses, and started sitting down with families doing financial planning, looking at their current debt scenario, where they were, their savings goals and objectives, and put together a plan to help them reach those goals. And so, I did their investments for them. I found ways to save them money on their insurance. And I did that for a number of years. It was a very highly regulated industry. You had to have those licenses and do continuing education. And then back in 2009, I got into the precious metals industry and went from highly regulated to pretty much zero regulation, And so what I do today is I try my best to educate people about the importance of having some of their money outside of the traditional banking system and the U.S. dollar. I mean, our banking system and currency are changing very rapidly, and we're heading to a digital currency eventually. And when we get to that digital currency, you can kiss all privacy goodbye. And they're going to try and make it seem like a seamless transition. For every dollar you get this many, these digital tokens or whatever. I mean, even Trump back in July 18th of last year, 2025, he signed the Genius Bill into law, allowing all these financial institutions to tokenize our money. So what we try and do at Gold Wealth Management is practice the same values I learned in the Marine Corps: honor, courage, commitment, service to others, and really take a zero pressure educational approach. Here, and show people here's why. Because if the why doesn't make sense, there's no sense in going into how to do it. So we have all these free educational materials about a lot of different subjects to, again, try and give people the information they need to make a good, sound, informed decision that's best for their situation and their family.
You also do seminars.
Correct.
And you're having one as soon. I want you to talk a little bit about that.
Right. So at the seminar, it's our seminar, we provide lunch afterwards. The one we're going to be doing is going to be Thursday, January 29th at 10 a.m. at the Pebble Creek Golf Club in Goodyear. And seats are limited, so people can RSVP. We'll reserve, however many seats you need, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. And we'll reserve those seats. We'll share some information, give away a lot of free material, and then have a good lunch afterwards. So I would encourage people, if they want to reserve seats, it's filling up quickly. I just had a bunch of postcards that are dropping and getting a ton of calls the last couple of days. But they can reserve by calling 623-640-5911. 623-640-5911. Just give us a call. We'll be happy to reserve some seats.
Now, your information is goldwealthmanagement.com, and all of the information is up there as well. I also want to talk about the fact that you are an author of several books, and I want you to talk about them. Right now, today, we're going to talk about one in general a little bit. I want you to first tell about your being that author of those books.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess I'll go with your term author. I mean, I did
I like put
the information together. But yeah, again, we've got everything going from information about stablecoin. We've got a lot of information about the different ways to buy gold and silver. Not all gold and silver is created equal. Some products are simply worth the gold and silver content. Some products have two values. They're not only worth the gold and silver content, but they have an intrinsic value. Some products generate a 1099 to the IRS. Some products are totally private. So, there are online places out there where people can go and just buy product. And those companies don't care if their customers are buying or are educated on what they're buying. And I see it every day. People that bought, $50,000 worth of South African Krugerrands, 1 ounce gold coin, great coin, but these people don't realize when they go to sell that coin, it's going to generate a 1099 to the IRS. And there are products that they could have bought that would have been totally private, no matter how many they purchased or sold. So all of our information, again, we try and cover everything. Some people will say, well, Wes, I really don't know what questions to ask. I put money in my 401k and hope everything's going to be okay. Well, even if you don't know what questions to ask, we're going to cover it. We're going to explain things over either a phone conversation or meeting in the office or meeting at your house. We're going to be explaining everything, and as we're covering everything from A to Z, that's going to create questions for people as well. Oh, I didn't think of that. So again, we want to address everything up front, because the last thing I want, Carol, is for someone to do business with Gold Wealth Management and then after the fact say, hey, Wes, it would have been nice to know this. So again, we do our best to try and cover everything. It's kind of a gold and silver education 101.
Right.
And give them, like I said, we want to get that information to them so they can make a decision that's best for them.
And also, you've said this before, is that there's no minimums. Yeah, you're all about first education.
Right.
Right? And there's a lot of people out there, maybe you are seasoned, but there's a lot of people out there that haven't bought any gold or silver at all, don't really know that part of the financial world, but that's
right.
where we're there for.
Right, and one thing that we do battle on our end is the financial advisors and the stockbrokers. 9 out of 10 of them are going to tell their clients, you're crazy to even consider investing in gold and silver. It's an old relic, it doesn't pay dividends, whatever. And looking back at 2025, you look at what gold did. Gold was up 60%, 65% from January to December of 2025. Silver was up 140%. And we don't sell gold and silver to people saying, do this so you can make a bunch of money. I mean, people will, but it's use stocks, bonds, mutual funds. We believe in diversification. We believe in all of those investments. Use those investments to make your money. Gold and silver is your insurance policy, your backup plan, getting some of your money, again, off the grid, outside of the traditional system. And I'll touch on this real quick, because the number one question by far that we get from people is, okay, Wes, I convert some of my savings or investments into gold and silver. When the time comes, how do I use that? Because you can't go to the grocery store and buy food. You can't go to the gas station and put fuel in your vehicle, which I don't think in our lifetime we're going to get into a barter situation. But you've got your money on the sidelines off grid, and you'll be able to convert it as you need it into whatever currency we're dealing in at that time. I have clients, I did IRAs for them 12, 15 years ago, back when they were working. They've since retired. They're living on Social Security and maybe a pension, and I'll get a call saying, hey, Wes, we retired, we're living on a pension, Social Security, we need an extra $1,500 a month to pay our bills. What we'll do from their IRA, if they have an IRA with us, we'll sell 3 or 4 months worth of their physical gold and silver from that IRA, put in a cash position in the IRA. They let me know what day of the month they want that $1,500 to hit their checking account, and like clockwork, that money will be deposited into their bank. About 3.5 months later, we sell another 3 or 4 months worth to keep those liquid funds available to make those monthly distributions.
So you can call him direct. He would like you to call him, and if you'd like to get in on one of these seminars, you can also RSVP through that as well. 623-640-5911. His next one is this coming on Thursday, the 29th. It's going to be it's the 29th at 10 a.m. at Pebble Creek Golf Club in Goodyear. Again, his number is 623-640-5911. His website is goldwealthmanagement.com. Before we go to a break, I know that you mentioned the last time that you were here that there are some stock market warnings that are going to be happening. I would like you to tell them a couple of them before we go to a break.
Yeah, number one is the price to earnings ratio. That's how much someone is willing to pay to earn $1 return on an investment. A normal PE ratio is 15 to 18, which is normal. An extremely overpriced price to earnings ratio is 25, and right now the PE ratio is sitting at 40. During 1999, the dot-com bubble, the PE ratio was only 4 points higher at 44. There have been 2 times it's been higher than 40, today and in 1999, when the NASDAQ fell 78%, the S&P 500 fell 49%.
That's a big flash. So you can call him direct. His phone number is 623-640-5911. He does free portfolio reviews, a consultation. He wants to educate you. Check him out on his website. It's goldwealthmanagement.com. Okay, are you okay with what we did?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah. I am.
So when you work with people and you sit down with them, let's say there are people out there that have a ton of money and can almost do whatever they want to do. What about people that don't, but still want to get and protect themselves?
You're talking about the people that aren't that fortunate, that don't have a lot of money or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, that's where it comes down to, we don't have any minimums. I mean, I saw an order that we have going out today, and I think I mentioned the same client before, has done like 80 trades with us.
Yeah,
He's got 4 Morgan silver dollars that he ordered going out. That's around, just over $300.
Right.
I mean, where the prices are right now. And so people, again, there's no minimum,
So I think today, for right now, no matter what, even if you're wealthy, there's a lot of people because they're holding on to their cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're afraid to make any moves because they don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I did a seminar, I did a seminar at the Wigwam Resort in October, and silver, had a number of people there. Silver was only $40 an ounce then. And you look at where we are right now, silver's at $92.43.
Wow.
They could have gone from $40 to $92.43 since October. And a lot of these people that we were reaching out to, trying to follow up with them, and we just, we got this going on, we got that going on, and I always say we have this crazy thing called life going on. That it's never a perfect time. You have to make it a priority, and they would be in a great position. But now fear of loss is setting in, and those people are calling us.
I didn't open up the lines of the audience. I'll do now, okay?
Okay. I don't hear anything in my headphones.
I'm sorry?
I don't hear anything in my headphones if I'm supposed to.
Oh, you're not right now?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in his headphones right now, no sound.
Yeah, there hasn't been the whole time. It's no big deal.
It doesn't really matter, but go ahead.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, though.
You have anything at all?
No. But it's all right. Maybe I got the wrong pair.
We're
Maybe I
about
need
15
these
seconds
ones.
out anyways.
Try the other, what's that?
It doesn't really matter.
We're having headphone issues. We are.
There we go.
I had to change too. So welcome back, everyone. We're talking about precious metals. And I just was talking to Wes a little bit about, people always think that when you're dealing with gold and silver, you gotta have a lot of money, and I wanted to talk about some of the people that, out there that may not have that as much money, but it doesn't matter. You said those are just as good as anybody else.
Correct, yes. When we were off here, I was commenting that I have a client that it always comes to mind. We talked about him before. Has made like over 80 purchases with us, and usually they're $200 to $300. And I saw he has an order that went out today. He bought 4 Morgan silver dollars, and just over time he just keeps doing that. And over the years he's accumulated a very nice portfolio. And I was just telling you also about the seminar that we did at the Wigwam Resort back in October. Gold was at $40 an ounce. And you look at where it is now, at $93 an ounce.
Look what happened.
And a lot of those people that we're setting up appointments with to meet, well, the kids have this, we have this, we all have this crazy thing called life going on. and it's never really a great time until you make it a priority. Because if those people would have invested back in October, which many did, but there's some that were still on the fence, that now the fear of loss is setting in, and they're calling, scrambling, not, hey, we can't do this fast enough, let's get it done. And that's the frustrating part is, this market is going to go higher for a number of reasons. And the warning signs that we're talking about, I mentioned that it's kind of like the warning light on your car. Your check engine light comes on, most people aren't just going to keep driving that car into the ground. Because you could take, you pull into, especially a dealership, you pull in at a dealership, you're spending $1,000 on almost nothing. And if you keep driving that vehicle, it could be several $1,000s of damage that you cause. We have those warning lights flashing in the market. The first one is the PE ratio that we talked about before we went to break. The Buffett indicator, very, very popular barometer for the markets. The Buffett indicator is calculated by taking the U.S. stock market cap divided by the U.S. GDP. A healthy number is anything under 100. An extreme overvalued market is over 150. The dot-com bubble in late 1990s was 150. Today that indicator is sitting at 220. And that's why Warren Buffett is sitting on $382 billion in cash. He has a war chest of money waiting for this big correction in the stock market to swoop in and buy all of these investments on sale. And people need to be paying attention to these indicators. Like, for example, right now, there's about $70 trillion of market cap. All the investments out there's about $70 trillion. In 2026, the GDP is estimated to be $31.8 trillion. You divide that into the market cap, and that's how we come up with the 220. So PE ratio, the Buffett indicator, and another one is the margin debt levels that we're at right now. We're at the highest point in history for hedge funds and companies and individuals borrowing money to invest. It's like leverage banking. For every $100 a bank has in that bank, they can lend 1,000. So it's fractional. These hedge funds and companies are borrowing money to invest, and it's great when the market's going up. However, when the market heads south and there's a huge correction, that's when these companies can go bankrupt. Because not only are they losing money on the investment, they lose all of that money when they get margin calls and stuff, but they are also liable to pay back the money they borrowed for those investments. Right now, as of December of 2025, there's $1.5 trillion of leveraged money that's borrowed right now for these investments. So those three indicators should be a wake-up call for people. And I would encourage people too, if you're financial advisors, like a lot of them out there, there's some very good ones, but most of them just say buy and stay the course. Oh, it's the market, it's going to come back, when it dips we'll buy more, whatever. But if they're really managing your money, they should be saying, hey, I'm concerned, let's sell some stuff. You never go broke taking profits. Take some profits and sit on the sidelines in cash like Warren Buffett is. And if you meet with your advisor, I would ask them about the PE ratio, the Buffett indicator, the margin debt, and ask them, are you concerned about that? And where are we positioned to protect our portfolio? And about taking profits, even people out there that bought gold and silver years ago, we buy gold and silver. So you might want to take a look at, hey, we got in when silver was 19 bucks an ounce or whatever. Let's take some profits and take our original investment off the table. And now we're playing with the house money, so to speak. We've got our money back out of that. So anyone that wants us to look at their portfolio and get values or prices on liquidating would be more than happy. It doesn't cost anything, but there are people out there that should be seriously considering taking some profits off the table and precious metals as well.
I say this a lot, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
And it's hard to completely understand everything. I think we're not trying to scare anybody in any way, but these are things that you need to be aware of, and being aware is the first step. So I think having that consultation with you, doing that free portfolio review is really, really important. So you can call them at 623-640-5911. You can also check him out on his website, which is goldwealthmanagement.com. wealthmanagement.com. I think what I wanted to also talk about, one thing that you've also said is that you don't own it until you hold it. And I think people need to understand, because a lot of people today, they go up online, they're buying from people online, they're buying, even things, they see it on television, but they're not getting the actual, tangible product.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and that's a lot of, if someone talks to their financial advisor about owning gold and silver, they'll be like, oh, we are invested in gold and silver. You've got GLD, which is an ETF. You're buying gold and silver. GLD and SLV is silver, exchange traded fund. That's not physical metal. I mean, it's a fact that they've oversold those positions, those paper contracts. And that's a big thing that's going on right now, and we have information on that as well about how oversold these paper contracts are and can never be delivered. And that's why the difference between the spot price, that people see in the news, and the physical price is growing, and it's going to continue to grow significantly. I mean, I remember back in the day, people would call, and the first question, what do you charge over spot? 3%, 4%, whatever. I mean, those spreads are continuing to grow because the paper market has been so manipulated. I mean, there should be people going to prison for what they've done holding the gold and silver price down. So you can use ETFs and those types of investments to speculate, to make money, because you can buy it this morning, silver's up 5% today, boom, I'm selling out. If you had 100 grand in there, you just made 5 grand. Within a couple of hours from the morning open till afternoon. And those funds are great for speculating, but if you're looking for privacy protection to preserve your wealth, maintain your purchasing power, you want physical, tangible gold and silver.
Did you finish on that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, one of the questions that you have here is, are you confident that the price of gold and silver are going to stay higher from where the price is now? So what are you think?
Absolutely. I don't want people to feel like they've missed out. We've been waiting on this movement in gold and silver for years, and we're finally here because the COMEX and the banks, they can't hold the price down. It's running away from them. So absolutely, as the Fed continues to lower rates, that's good for gold and silver.
What does it look like when you have that consultation with them, with your clients? What does that look like at first?
We can do it over the phone, like I said, in the office. We can do it at their house, whatever. It's zero pressure. It's we want to sit down and find out about those families, and what are you concerned about? What keeps you up at night? How do you think your investments are doing? What do you think about going to a digital currency? I mean, we ask a lot of questions, to try and get information, and then they're open to ask us. I tell people, review the information, jot down all your questions, your concerns, and we'll discuss those in detail. And again, even by us having a conversation, you're going to have questions added to your list.
Well, he would love you to come to his seminar that he's having January 29th at 10 a.m. at Pebble Creek Golf Club in Goodyear. You can call him. He'd like to do that consultation for you, to have a free portfolio review. What are your final words right now?
Yeah, I just, it's the beginning of the year. It's a great time to review your portfolio, look at your overall positions, reallocate things, take profits off the table. The profits you're taking out of the stock market, put those in your safe haven investment, physical gold and silver that you hold off on the sidelines in your possession.
Insurance, that's what you called it earlier, and it gives you peace of mind.
Correct.
And I think when you have that money and it's in some safe in your home, there's nothing like that.
Right.
And if Warren Buffett is doing that, don't you think everybody should be?
Well, he's a pretty sharp investor, that's for sure.
Check him out on his website. It is goldwealthmanagement.com. He's been doing this for 17 years. His phone number is 623-640-5911.